Hey guys, Brett here. So in this video, I want to share with you the process that I have gone through from internally since seeing the death and assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I guess this is partly for me processing, but primarily it's because I want you to have exposure to how other people are experiencing this. Because obviously in the digital age, we're all separated. We're all sort of in our own little echo chamber. And what's normal? What's normal? What are the emotions people are going through? What's the experience other people are having? And what's normal? And that doesn't mean it's clean, and that doesn't mean that it's tidy, and that doesn't mean that the emotions are orderly or that they're perfect. But what you're experiencing is normal. That's the goal of this video. So again, my name's Brett. If you're new to the channel, tell me what you want me to talk about. I'd love to support you guys in any way I can. Hit me up in the comments down here. You guys can look around the playlists on my channel here, and you can see lots of things that I talk about. It's pretty diverse, but I want to work with you on whatever it is you want. So let's talk about it. So when I first heard the information on Charlie Kirk, that he had been attacked, I didn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. My family plays jokes. I was at a playground with my kids, and I thought they were messing with me. And quickly, then it was like, okay, no, this is serious. And so I was disbelief. So the first thing I experienced was disbelief. Now this isn't really happening. We don't really have assassinations in our country. Well, yeah, apparently we do. And then, and for me, just being someone, again, look at my playlists, being someone who's a little bit more analytical and logical, I have the tendency to rationalize things and try to make them go away with information. So the next thing, and I would say this is probably like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and it's like, well, you know, just right off, it's disbelief. Okay, well, it's happening. Well, how do I get rid of it in my mind? Well, it's just another news story. This isn't going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be a cycle in the news and you move on. And then that lasted probably 2 or 3 minutes. It's probably the fastest cycle. It's disbelief and then that, and those were pretty quick. And then immediately after, it was like, no, this is really happening. And then the shock. It's like, oh, wow. Okay. Now, and I would say the shock range for me, that's when the video had come out. And now there's a video online of him being shot. Now, I knew what was going to be in that video. I was already aware that he got shot. I was already aware that it was very graphic. Now, I personally chose to watch it knowing what I was going to see in it. And the reason why I did that was because as a Christian and as a believer, I want to be able to take right action in alignment with the way the world is. And I want to be able to know the way the world is, and I want to be able to say, okay, God, what do you want me to do with that? What is the way that I can do the next hardest thing in response to what the world has presented me? So for me personally, you know, I didn't want to hide from what was happening. I wanted to see it so that I could process it, take it in, and then figure out what to do about it in my own life and my own relationship with God and with my family. Um, so I did watch the video immediately. It was just as bad, if not worse, than I thought it was. So I think at that point it was horror. Um, there was horror and it was just unspeakable, obviously. Now that probably lasted for any number of hours, maybe even the whole day. Um, and then came sadness, grief, and this isn't just me. This is with my family, my wife, and that sadness, that grief was for days. I mean, for lots of people, for the country, for his family, for his daughters. I mean, my goodness, they're not going to have a father. I'm still sad. I'm still grieving about that even now. Um, and I think too, maybe even on a broader spectrum, and I have other videos about this, but maybe just for the world that I thought, how do I say this? I knew I didn't live in a utopia world where everything's perfect. I know there's evil. I accept there's evil, but also it's like this is a different type of evil that I have not personally seen in my life. And so it's like there is a grief and a sadness that it's like, oh, the world is different than it used to be, at least for me. And I think a lot of people are having that experience, and that seems to be pretty normal. So a lot of sadness, a lot of grief. Now, up to that point, there was still something I couldn't put my finger on. And it's like, okay, well, hold on. I had the disbelief and shock and horror and then it's like, okay, I'm feeling the sadness, I'm feeling the grief, but there's just something I can't put my finger on. What is it? And it occurred to me, it's, well, it's evil. The thing that I saw and the thing that you saw is evil, and I need to call it for what it is. And as soon as I did that, I had a lot of peace because it's like, okay, I can just accept it for what that was an evil, evil thing that we all saw. And I think a lot of people weren't prepared for that. Now, I wish I was more prepared, but I guess you just can't be. So it's evil. And I think I didn't realize too how big of an impact Charlie Kirk had on me. I wasn't like the biggest, so like, how do I say this? I'm a Christian. I'm in alignment with a lot of what he says, but I wasn't like a Turning Point fan. I didn't follow every video. I wasn't in his organization, but over the years, I watched a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. I guess I just didn't really realize it. It got mixed in there with the Ben Shapiro and the debates and the Jordan Petersons and all these things. He really did have a big impact on me, and I don't even think I realized that. So I think that had an additional impact on the grief and the sadness, and then recognizing, wow, a good person was taken, and that's evil. So after that, I think I began to feel very angry. And I'll clarify too. I would say maybe a biblical and a righteous anger. Okay. And so if you're not familiar with what that is, when you see evil and you can call it evil, which it was, God tells us in the Bible to hate what is evil. It is okay to be angry and to hate what happened to Charlie Kirk and the worldviews and the ideologies that bring that about. It's okay to hate that because it is evil. Now, the Bible says that justice is God's, that vengeance is the Lord. So does that mean that I need to go get justice and vengeance? No, not at all. That's not what that means at all. The Bible tells us to pray for our enemies, to love our neighbor as ourselves, to love our enemies. So can I hate what that was and the ideology and because it's evil? Yes. Can I be angry about it righteously? Absolutely. And I think God is angry about it. Also, it's not toxic and unhealthy anger that leads to violence and all of this other stuff. That's different. That's a worldly, that's a fallen anger. So, so I'm processing that anger to ensure that in whatever way it comes back out, it's productive and it makes the world a better place and it shows Christ and it shows God in the way that Charlie would have wanted it to. And then of course here I am, making a YouTube video. And what I would say is this is I don't know how you can watch something like that and then not do anything. So I would encourage you do something, even if it's small. I feel personally, I guess this is part of my experience. I feel personally very frustrated that I can't do more. And if you watch my channel, you know I'm all about taking action. I've been doing the best I can for a long time. And I wished the audience was bigger. I wish the platform was bigger. Like, subscribe, share, but not even just with YouTube. I wish I had more resources to mobilize and do something and make a bigger difference, like Charlie did. But that's not the case. I wished I was there. I'm not there. And so, despite the fact having done the best I can, what can I do? What can you do, even if you have a very small platform, even if you just have friends, even if you just show up at work? What can you do? Okay, well, I've got a video with or a YouTube channel with not quite 1,000 subscribers, and I talk about a lot of stuff. I'll put a video up there because maybe I can help someone heal. Maybe I can help someone process, even if it's not that many. That's what I can do. Maybe what I can do is I can sit down, talk with my wife, and say, listen, uh, Charlie said, even if he thought it was the end of the world, he'd still plant an apple tree. That's actually a video she saw me. She showed me. What apple trees are we planting today? Let's look at how we're handling the kids. Let's look at our own relationship. What can we do in our community? What are the things we can do, even if they're only small? Because if all of us are doing what we can do, even if it's small, that's a lot of stuff. That's how we make the world that Charlie wanted us to be in. So that'd be my encouragement for you. Again, thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, share if this was helpful for you, if you know someone who you feel like is trying to process this as well. It's ugly. I don't think it's supposed to be pretty, but I do think that we can bring Charlie's sacrifice around to a place where we can glorify God and make the world um, better than it was the other day. If you have a video request, please let me know in the comments. Thanks so much. God bless.